was following the clearance of the ball there from Anthony Nash. I didn't see what happened. The umpires are right beside it there, so they would have got a good view of it.
They should have a very, very good view. We might even have a camera shot of it. Let's see. Oh, that's Conor O'Sullivan. Is it? No, it's Shane O'Neill, and he could be in trouble. Well, he's marking Derek Honan, and now it's a question of what the umpires have told the match official, and a very, very concerned looking Jimmy Barry Murphy there with Dr. Con Murphy.
Well, we've seen it all year. You know, we've had a few sending offs that people haven't been happy with, but it was a swipe and a hurl down the head. It's a big call now for Brian Gavin.
It sure is. So Davy Fitzgerald wondering whether or not he'll be playing against a team with 14 or 15 at this early in the game, just over a quarter of an hour gone. Dr. Pádraig Quinn out there with the physio, Diarmaid Horgan, looking after Derek Honan. There was a certain amount of jostling going on before that. Moir Forna went in as well there to just check on things. Shorsha, Olpen, and now the referee calling aside both of these players. And clearly something happened before all of that. We got the end of it there where Shane O'Neill caught Derek Honan, but there must have been something going on.
Well, he's indicating a bit of a handle back, and he's given both of them a yellow card. And I have to say, you know, Shane O'Neill probably lucky there. We didn't see Derek Honan what he did, but he did get a slap down top of the head. Probably not overly malicious, but still, we've seen lads been sent off for maybe less this year.
Certainly have. Well, they've both been warned now at this stage. So on somewhat thin ice as that puck out comes down towards Park Roden, and here comes Daniel Carney. Carney from 30 metres out, great save! Followed up in there, Luca Farrell can't get it in. And was it picked up off the ground? The referee, I think, indicates that it was.
And Anthony Nash coming up the field.
And it's going to be an opportunity for Cork. Anthony Nash coming up here. He's already scored in Championship hurling against Wexford last year in the qualifiers. So there will be 3 on the line if the referee is awarding a penalty here. Now, is it going to be, was it inside or outside? It looks like it's a conventional 20-metre free. So there will be 5 on the line, and Anthony Nash to try his luck. And he's not coming up there just to put it over the bar. There'll be more than 5.
Well, he was called up very quickly, but it's only a technical foul, so it's a 21-yard free. But he's definitely, with his power, he's going to go for it.
Nash with 5 points already in this year's championship. Rising, striking off the goalkeeper. I think it went up too high in the air for the goalkeeper, Anthony Nash, to get the connection he wanted, but tremendous save by Park Kelly. Fired his body at that, and now the goalkeeper for Cork is out of position, and here comes Podge Collins, and Podge Collins drops this one over the bar. A point for Clare, where Cork were going for a goal at the other end.
Well, Jared, that's a huge swing. Anthony Nash threw the ball nearly into the 14-yard line. A brilliant save by Patrick Kelly. He was goading Anthony Nash to go for the goal, and he went out, threw himself in front of it. Great save as well here from Kelly. Ball bouncing away from him. That's a fantastic save in the first place before the pick-up. But that's a huge turning point, I think, you know, early in the game. Great save and a great score by Podge Collins down the other end.
From the puck out, Clare once again on their own half-back line. Pat Donnellan here, getting it inside here as far as Colin Ryan. Low inside towards Conor McGrath this time. Getting away there from Stephen MacDonald from 45 metres out. McGrath shoots, and McGrath puts it wide. And it's just the second wide for Clare so far. Well, what a dramatic couple of minutes here. We could have had a goal for Cork. Instead, a wonderful save by Park Kelly. Courageously dived into this one here. Just flung himself at it, hit his rear.
He didn't know much about it, to be fair, but see where he was. He was nearly out on top of the ball, and, you know, very brave and a great save.
That comes off Park Cronin, being marked by Brendan Bugler. Got the stick in there, out help next is Donald O'Donovan. And O'Donovan from the middle of the park, shooting it off his left-hand side. Drops into the goalkeeper's hand, however, and Anthony Nash now can begin the counter-offensive. 2 between them. 90 minutes gone in this All-Ireland final. Back it comes to Colin Ryan. Looking for a support player, doesn't get one, however. Tony Kelly back helping out. Kelly operating between the half-forward line and midfield, low inside towards John Conlon. Brushed aside there. Bodies falling to the ground. And there's an injury to one of the Clare players as we watch this again here. Podge Collins going down. And the player having recovered from injury, again centrally positioned and 50 metres, a little more from the target. And he's certainly in form and on song and feeling confident today. You can sense that. 3-pointed freeze. Looks nerveless. 7 points to 4. 21 minutes gone. So far so good for Clare here. Cork needing a lift. It's 10 minutes since Cork have scored. That was a big catch there. One well in the air by Conor Ryan once again. What a match he's playing. All the way down as far as Podge Collins. Darts this way and that. Gets away from Conor O'Sullivan. Beautiful ball inside. Precisely in as far as Conor McGrath. Switching his legs this way and that, and then over the bar. That's a beautifully worked point. That's this new Clare hurling team at their very best. Precise about where they pass it. Confident in their approach. Going past the defenders. Hitting the shots. And getting another one. 8 points to 4.
And that was a great score, Gerard. We've seen maybe a couple of aimless balls in there, a little bit of rush of blood, but that was very well worked. Conor Ryan is dominating in the half-back line. Great ball in, and Podge Collins, fantastic ball into Conor McGrath, and a beautiful point.
Connolly Hahn didn't get to that, but he's assisted this time. Coming up to help him there was William Egan. It's got to be Cork's free. Well, before this match, people were talking in terms of this being a battle of Clare's well-tutored tactical style against Cork's more free-spirited approach. But Cork are looking for some of their forward players in particular now to really make a bigger impact. They've depended on Patrick Horgan's free-taking. He's got 3 so far, and he's keeping them very much in this contest. 8 points to 5. The only point they've got from play so far, Cork, in the opening 22, nearly 23 minutes, has come from Seamus Harnedy.
Yeah, and 5 of the Clare forwards have scored from play, a point each. John Conlon, Tony Kelly, Parry Collins, Derek Conan and Conor McGrath. And only Seamus Harnedy with a point for Cork from play.
Back once again comes John Conlon. Big, huge one in towards Derek Conan. That spells danger. Oh, great save. Anthony Nash got down, somehow managed to keep it out. Should have been a goal for Clare. It's a free out instead. Reminiscent of what happened in Limerick in the Munster semi-final. Derek Conan had goal chances there. He had about 3, but this was a really good one, and he certainly is causing problems. Should have scored. Really good piece of goalkeeping. That was low down to the goalkeeper's left.
But if you watch for the little flick here as well, Jared, just there, Anthony Nash got it away from under his feet. Fantastic save, and Derek Conan did everything right. But with that, again, both goalies have to make a great save at this stage.
This time it's Patrick Horgan, and the shoulder from Horgan is still in play here, looking for a support player. There's nobody coming to his aid, and it's Clare who are grouping better. Conor O'Sullivan, hand passed as far as Joyce, and Chris Joyce drives it in there towards the team captain, but across comes the magnificent Pat O'Connor, and O'Connor off his left, back into the middle of the field towards Conor McGrath. McGrath tussling there with Chris Joyce, supported here by Colin Ryan. And Colin Ryan hoops superbly by Stephen MacDonald, but it comes back still to Podge Collins. Podge Collins challenged highly there by Stephen MacDonald, and a look of resignation in Stephen MacDonald as he walks away from that and recognises that this Clare attack really are looking highly dangerous this afternoon.
The Cork forwards are competing in the air. Pat O'Connor, fantastic catcher, and he's been brilliant this year to me, the most underrated member of this Clare team. Brilliant ball, and Podge Collins' movement, look where he was out in the left wing again. And great interplay between himself and Colin Ryan, and Collins won the free.
So just coming up to 25 minutes gone, and Colin Ryan to keep his success rate going. Well, he's pointed from this distance already in this match, so he knows the angles, and he's got it right again. Absolutely perfect free taking by a really talented player. That's 28 points he's got against Cork now in 3.5 matches. And that was that wonderful catch by Pat O'Connor after that. That lovely piece of interception by Stephen MacDonald. Cork need to get going as an attacking force. Maybe Harnedy from the St. Eatus Club. He's got one, he goes for another one. Well taken in by the goalkeeper, Parr Kelly. Not easy. Jamie Collins after him, trying to hook him, and he robs it. and Jamie Cole, and then a shot which is blocked, but in comes David McInerney, and McInerney tries to get away from the challenges, and the referee has blown his whistle.
Yeah, that David McInerney certainly looked to be fouled there. They're coming across with the ball, he got a slap and he was going to go down injured. He stayed going, took a few steps, and the Clare lads not impressed with that decision.
And the Clare fans very, very unhappy with it, that's for sure. And he's pointing out to the referee that he was the one who was fouled earlier on. As you say, tried to keep going.
Yeah, he took a slap across. It looked a free out to me. He stayed going, and it looked to be another slap that came in maybe, but he had taken a few steps at that stage, and I think that's harsh on Clare.
Well, he didn't get the free what he might have, and now Cork can benefit. And Horgan trying to add to his 4 points. Referee bringing the ball in for the protest by Clare into a more central position. Thought they might have even considered bringing Nash up for this one as well, but instead it's going to be Horgan. So the Glen Rovers man, I'm sure, will be considering a goal. A lot of bodies on the line. Drives it over the bar instead. 5-pointed freeze for Patrick Horgan, and it's 9 points to 6, but the Clare fans still furious about that. They're absolutely... There's the knockdown onto the players, onto the goalkeeper's stick. Then the ball stolen away, and that was certainly a foul, no question about that. It was by Lehan, but free wasn't given. Cork got a point out of all of that, and now Clare respond here with Pat Donnellan running into a cul-de-sac. Not the really stylish final so far that we'd been hoping it might be. A lot of time still left in it.
Yeah, Cork just hanging in there really, Jerry. You know, Clare dominating the game, but there's only 3 points in it.
Well, it might be more than that now, because Podge Collins has driven this one high. The umpires have a little chat about it and say, yes, that's a very, very good shot. Podge Collins' second point, and now it's 10 points to 6. Clare by 4.
And the quick line ball again, Jerry, you know, we've seen it all year, but brilliant. Collins again, way away from his right corner forward position, picks it up, thinking under feet all the time, fast enough from Colin Ryan and over the bar. Great score.
More or less a replica of the Dara Conan point earlier on, also from a line ball quickly taken. Now Tony Kelly. And Tony Kelly is out over the near sideline. Wasn't on target anyway, so it's going to be a line ball to Cork. Cork just about hanging on in there still, but they're only 4 points behind. Teams at half time, and then Cork stormed into it in the second 35 minutes. So you can't dismiss any team's chances at this early stage. Joyce cutting it up. Held beautifully again here. It's David McInerney robbing Luke O'Farrell and then setting off the hand pass judiciously placed into the path here of Colin Galvin. Galvin, 2 men after him. A lot of trickery being shown, but maybe he should have laid the ball off to a support player. McGrath was available to him, he never got it, and instead it's Shane O'Neill, the fullback for Cork, up towards Conor Lehan's wing. Being marked closely there by Pat O'Connor. Back as far as Brendan Bugler. And Brendan Bugler eventually sandwiched by 2 Cork players. He's certainly fired up, they all are.
Yeah, great play by Bugler, but really Conor Lehan was out in front. You know, he should have won that possession, he didn't, and you know, look, you see it there, just too casual, and Pat O'Connor in with a flick and won the ball. And you'd have to say, you know, the Cork midfield and forward line, they've hardly won any possession between them. They relied on a couple of frees to keep them in the game, and Clare are all over them at this stage. Well,
5 frees so far, and just 1 point from play. We keep on saying it. Seamus Harnady's point earlier on. Colin Ryan. 65 metres out, and the kind of form he's in today, he looks like he's going to convert each and every opportunity that comes his way. 5 out of 5 and 11 points to 6 for Clare, and no more than he looks happy. Anthony Nash's puck out, looking for Park Cronin to try and win this. He fumbles, then goes and picks it up at the second attempt, or tries to. Helped out here by Lorcan McLaughlin, we've scarcely mentioned his name so far. McLaughlin and Carney struggling in midfield. Constant pressure on the Cork half back line. This is McLaughlin here. up against Colin Ryan.
Yeah, Colin Ryan studies ground, and McLaughlin went with the hand first. It's any sort of a frontal charge like that. To me, Colin Ryan had no choice but to stand his ground there, and that's a soft free for Cork.
Well, otherwise a free that might not have been given their way, but it's been given to Pat Horgan, and another one's gone over the bar. Clare will argue about the decision to give Cork their last 2 frees, but Cork have availed of the opportunity and closed the gap to 4 points again without playing that terribly well. 4 minutes to go to half-time. Pa Kelly's puck out down onto the half-forward line. 6 from 11 for Clare, 1 from 7 for Cork. Scores from play so far. Conor McGrath, really dangerous forward. Tricky operator. Well, this one has gone away to the left-hand side. Just their third wide of this first half.
I think he's looking for maybe Hawkeye's intervention, but I don't think it's coming.
Well, Brian Gavin is the one who will call that, should it be required. Can be guided by the officials in the Hawkeye office, as it were. No call this time. Broken down again here. Harnedy flicking it across. Daniel Carney now, the SARS man. Fumbles. Cian Dillon's there. So too is Galvin. Cian Dillon then comes across Seamus Harnedy. Release the ball back once again, and this time it's gone over the bar. And another point from play for Cork. And this one is scored by their midfielder Daniel Carney. His 4th point of this year's championship.
Yeah, good play there by Seamus Harnedy on the ground. Lovely little hand pass, and Daniel Carney over the bar. And expected to see much more of him in the game. That might settle him down now, and as we kept saying, that Cork are going to be the happier team. They're only 3 points down, with Clare having dominated possession.
I think Jimmy Barry Murphy and Kieran Kingston, as you say, will be quietly pleased if they don't concede a goal between here at half-time. Tony Kelly with this shot, lovely score. He's a terrific performer. One of the most eye-catching young players in this year's championship. The ex-St. Flannan's man picked it up, darts forward, and the usual dead-eye accuracy. Wonderful stuff. 12 points to 8.
Yeah, great score, Ger. He's completely two-sided. I think that's why he's so difficult to mark. Very pacey, and that's one off his left and one off his right now.
Just looks the complete hurler, doesn't he? That sails in over the head of Conor Ryan that time. Chance to recover, however. Cork have it. Horgan looking for support players. Lorcan McLaughlin getting more into it now in the last couple of minutes. That's good vision. Picks out Brian Murphy, and Brian Murphy knocks it over the bar. It's only his 2nd ever championship point, playing in his 9th championship season. The ultra-efficient player, playing in his 45th championship match today, Brian Murphy. And he's been on the winning team for Cork 29 times. Hoping this will be the 30th. He's made it 12 points to 9.
Yeah, I know as a forward, in my own times, if you brought it back up the field and he stuck one over the bar like that, you'd be a little bit embarrassed about it, but great ball by Lorcan McLaughlin, and Brian Murphy showing all his experience there.
They're just plugging away, Cork. William Egan now, back here. Shane O'Neill has lost his stick. It's going to be a free out, and another little bit of needle there between a couple of players. Just another minute to go before the half-time whistle will sound. Overall, Clare have looked the better team by far in the first half, but still the margin's only 3 points. Anthony Nash hitting a huge one onto the 20-metre line. This time it's caught well by Pa Cronin. Good save again by the goalkeeper, Pa Kelly. Composed, getting it away out here. Pat Donnellan now. Off he goes once again. Luke O'Farrell's after him. Plays it in here as far as Galvin. Colin Galvin to carry it forward incrementally, and that's gone away to the right-hand side, and it's a missed opportunity. Point they will probably feel they should have got. A lot of hard work went into that.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's the style of play sometimes. Pat Donnellan had the ball, loads of space. He could have delivered an 80-90 yard ball into the full forward line, and he didn't, and it ends up going wide. It can be a bit frustrating for the inside forward line.
2 minutes of additional time now about to be started. Anthony Nash. Huge puck out again towards Cronin, but he's been double marked, and every time that puck out comes down, Clare are anticipating. They're covering really well. Cronin's having to work extra hard in there as well. Lorcan McLaughlin, but again it's a Clare man who emerges with it, and it's Tony Kelly once again. Oh wow, how about that? Shades of Patalini from back in the 70s. This is one-handed away by Conor O'Sullivan. Back out as far as a free Patrick Horgan. Nobody got near him. He has a go. He drives it beautifully over the bar. a 7th for Pat Horgan, his first to come from play, and the gap tightens to 2 points in the first minute of added time, and Clare must be wondering why they're not further ahead.
Yeah, but Ger, first of all, what a fantastic score. Conor O'Sullivan out in front of Conor McGrath, played a lovely little one-handed ball up, and Horgan from, it must have been nearly 100 yards on the angle straight over the bar. With fair play to Cork, they kept at it. I just think Clare need to play more ball into that full forward line a bit quicker. They're carrying a little bit too much out the field, and the game is livening up now. There's a bit of life in the last 5 minutes, and both teams, I think the nerves are going and they're settling down.
And the crowd is certainly becoming enlivened as well, and they're enjoying it a little bit more. That's Conor O'Sullivan there, winning the free for Cork, which is going to be taken by Anthony Nash. More or less the final 30 seconds of this first half. Huge one from Nash, and that one has drifted wide of the target. It's gone wide. It's only Cork's first wide of this first half, and I think the next thing we're probably going to hear in a few moments' time will be the half-time whistle, with only 2 points between the teams, and very, very delicately balanced for this second half. Park Kelly pucking out. Maybe there's time for one more Clare attack. They would probably feel they could do it another point just to stretch their lead before the break, but they're not going to get it there. Went off Patch Collins. We haven't seen him do the kind of usual roaming that he tends to do in matches.
No, but he is coming across the field here a lot. He scored 2 good points in the first half, both of them nearly from the left half forward position. He is travelling and covering ground, but not playing the same role off out the middle of the field.
William Egan hits it in. Brian Gavin blows his whistle, and the teams go off at half-time here, having shared 22 points. Podge Collins racing across. It was a Clare team that had 4 points of a lead at one stage. Patrick Horgan's been Cork's top scorer with 7 points. The last one a wonderful point from play. The team managements will have much to say at half-time. Colin Ryan has got 5 points, all from frees for Clare. They had a really good goal chance with Dara Conan. Cork had a 20-metre free which Anthony Nash took but didn't quite convert, and at half-time here in Croke Park in the 126th All-Ireland hurling final, it's Clare who lead. Clare
2-10. Zero for Liam Sheedy, Eddie Brennan here with me in our Croke Park studio. Liam, I suppose if there's one word that could sum up that first half, intense probably is that word.
Yeah, it is. It's very tight. It's hard to get space with 4 points all after 10 minutes. But Clare went on a bit of a burst then and went 4 points ahead, and they've more or less held that lead. They'll be disappointed probably to be only 2 points ahead because they have played the better hurling. I suppose the worrying thing for Cork is that 4 of their forwards are losing their individual battles. Up front they're not really being able to get their hands on the ball. That'll be a real concern to them. Whereas Davy Fitz will be very happy. Obviously, all 6 of his forwards have got their names on the score sheet, which is a real plus for him. So I think Clare will be disappointed they're not further ahead. But at the same time, they're the team that are doing all of the hurling. They're far more switched on, and at the moment they're 2 points ahead and full value for that lead.
We talked about maybe nerves being a part of this game, Eddie, before with so many young players. No difficulties assigned to that with a lot of players in the way they've been scoring and the way they've been taking frees and things like that as well.
No, it's been a brilliant start. I suppose the first 5 or 10 minutes things were a little bit nervous, but Clare are really switched on. That's the one thing that I would have noted from the first half. They're concentrating, they're working harder. The Clare backs in particular are well on top. They're absolutely cleaning Cork out in their own puckouts, and the first few points that they tagged on, as Liam said there, all 6 forwards have put their names on the sheet, and Dara Conan's point in particular was just pure concentration. To leave a man loose 40 on the 21.
This is probably the best of the ball up here. There's a lot to do here. Tony Kelly gets it up the second attempt, still a good bit to do, goes back on his favourite left side. They are taking great scores, Michael, but I don't think Fitz will be too happy at half time because they're well on top. But here again, quick line.
Jimmy Barry won't be too happy with this. Just let a lad take a score like that.
That's the second one that's after happening, But most important of all, I would have felt when they came out in the field, and I'd be always looking at that, is Clare looked that little bit tetchy, they looked a little bit nervous, and after the first 5 minutes they seem to have got that out of their system, and they are well in control. Not reflected on the scoreboard, and that's typical Cork. They're just hanging in, they're doing enough to stay in there. Pat Horgan's after picking up 3 very, very important points that just kept them ticking over, because Jimmy Barry Murphy can't wait, I'd say, to get his forwards in, because they're not tuned in, they're not attacking the ball, and that's what Clare have done off all their own puckouts.
Yeah, sir, how do you feel, say, as a manager or indeed as a player, when you've done most of the hurling in the first half, and yet you look at the scoreboard and you haven't got that gap that you expected?
Yeah, well, you're not going to let your feelings show to the players that way. David will win at half time and say, listen lads, we're doing the hurling, we know we're good enough, we're 2 up, let's drive on from there. I suppose the interesting thing from the start was that there was no sweeper back for Clare. They played 6 and 6. Pat Donlan's gone to midfield, so they're actually playing orthodox, which is kind of unusual. Like that's the first time for a good while. So there's
unusual to be played.
Yeah, well, it was nothing to counteract. He will be disappointed in his own in the sense that he would feel there should be 4, 5 or 6. Cork are still in. Pat Horgan has been immaculate from frees really, and they've picked up an odd point here out the field. Murphy picked up a great point, and so did Daniel Carney. They're staying in the game even though they're out of it. Now a goal is going to have a terrible bearing. Like Nash brought off a great save, and so did Patrick Kelly.
Yeah.
And where you had the feel if Clare got a goal to start the second half, maybe they could push on. But with all the ball they have, they're still in danger because they haven't pushed on, and Cork are still very, very dangerous.
Anthony Nash did make, or there was a good save made by Kelly, but Cork might have had a little bit of a penalty claim out of this. They felt anyway.
Yeah, I suppose it was a great chance for Cork. I mean, Daniel Carney probably be disappointed when he looks back, and I mean, he shot from outside the 14. When you got top class goalies, you got to get in. And Patrick Kelly picks the ball off the ground, and I'm not sure whether they talk. We were surprised. Maybe we thought he might put the ball over the bar. But don't underestimate. That's a fantastic save by Patrick Kelly. That's not an easy shot. Ground shot onto the ground. Made a great save, and panicked a little bit, picked the ball off the ground, and it's a 21-yard free. And I mean, Anthony Nash has got a really good shot in the ball. But watch here. Look how far he's out. I mean. He's come way off his line, and that ball should have been retaken. And it was a double blow for Cork because the ball ends up going back down the field. Anthony Nash isn't in the goals. Shane O'Neill has gone back minding the house, and Podge Collins picks it up and pops it over the bar.
Yeah.
So that was a real hammer blow at that stage for Cork.
And to come in on that, I think we talk about in soccer. Look how close all the players are. They certainly weren't outside the D, and it's a little bit hard on a free taker. We've seen Tom earlier on in the year. Definitely that should have been pulled back. He nearly went out and nearly met himself, and Anthony Nash nearly collided.
He's not supposed to leave the line, but he did leave it. But I suppose it brings up another point for a future thing. Should we be allowed? You're allowed at the moment to throw the ball up. He's at 6 or 7 yards in. It's only 14 yards by the time the good lads hit it. So it's for future debate. Clare will be happy to get away with it because like a goal at that stage of Rockton, because Cork have got a few lovely points for half time to keep just hang in.
Yeah, but Clare had a goal chance themselves, Liam.
Yeah, Anthony Nash again coming to the rescue. I mean, always the 5 minutes to rectify it, and we all know this Cork jersey. They won't let it go without a fight, but they'll really need to find another gear up front if they're to be successful here. I mean, the fielding by some of the Clare players, David McInerney, Conor Ryan has gone back into it, just snapping ball out of the sky. They've been well on top. They'll need to change that in the second half to give themselves a chance of winning.
And in fairness to Mulcahy was making the point there himself that some of these Cork lads haven't quite performed yet. They haven't quite got into it.
No, and that's the unfortunate part of All-Ireland Final Day. I can certainly put my hand up with no great pride. All-Ireland Final Day can often pass you by. It can be over before you know it. You can often try too hard. But Anthony Nash must be looking up the field saying, come on lads, give me something here, because as Liam said, they are plucking everything out of the sky, and Pat Cronin there for Cork seems to be getting a little bit of jostled and bumped and shoved before he starts his run for a puck out. But in general, Clare are well on top, and if they can just settle down a bit, cut down the frees have probably kept Cork in it. So if they keep their discipline.
All right, time to hand back to Michael Duignan and Ger Canning.
One change made at half-time by Cork, and that is Stephen Moylan has come into corner forward, and I think it's Jamie Cullen who's made way. No change made by Clare, who are looking for their first win over Cork in the championship since 1998. Second half gets underway, and Clare looking to try and build upon what they achieved in the opening half. Egan back here towards Lachlan McLaughlin, robbed straight away, and then back comes Conor O'Sullivan to link up with his goalkeeper, and Nash drives it a good 60 metres down the field here. Well, Carney was trying to anticipate, didn't quite work out for him, but it comes to Conor Lehan, who tried to up his performance from that first half, inside towards Luke O'Farrell. Broken up here, Pat O'Connor couldn't get it, but Tony Kelly can. Throws it ahead of himself almost, lost it anyway, and then knocked it down towards Podge Collins. Clare fans felt he was fouled, referee didn't agree. In it goes as far as Colm Galvin, and Galvin places it across here on the left-hand side. Beautifully there for Tony Kelly, steadies himself and puts it over the bar. He knew from the minute he hit it, he was jumping for joy with that one, punching the air, and he's got the first point of the second half, 3 between them.
Yeah, that's great play between two young players. Colin Galvin, had a super first half in the middle of the field, lovely ball in, and Tony Kelly had been just out in the middle of the field 2 seconds before that. He covered 30 or 40 yards, great run into space and a great score.
From that puck out, it's Clare who've got it again. John Conlon. I'm sure Davy Fitzgerald has told them you won the first half, but you should be further ahead at this point. Podge Collins goes in, he's challenged, and the referee sees the foul on the 21-year-old from Cratloe. He was caught there by Pa Cronin, and so it's going to be a free once again, which Colin Ryan will take. Impeccable with his frees in the opening 35 minutes. This to put 4 between them. 5 from 5 so far, 50 metres from the target. Perfect day for hurling at Croke Park, and the pitch in perfect condition. And that's a very, very good start to the second half for him.